Good morning, guys. All right, before we break down today's trade, not this one, but another one on gold I took last night, here's the win of the day today. Shout out to Dan Muscat. First payout with Volpro, just joined a month ago and received his first payout. Man, we are stacking up some good wins inside the community, guys. So shout out to Dan. Congratulations for that. Right. Now, today's trade, I'm going to share a trade I took on gold. This is one I just took just now on the NQ on my Apex account. This is a D-shaped profile setup, but that is not the trade we're going to break down. Today's trade we're going to break down was actually on gold. If you look at the NASDAQ and the S&P today, or at least during the New York session, it completely ran away from the overnight levels right off the bat. We had some fundamental news that came in and really pushed things higher. Of course, that news being the Strait of Hormuz, from Mr. Donald Trump. Again, flip-flop back and forth, just a bunch of bullshit, guys. So it's one of those days where the market only moved in one direction. Look at that massive run today on NQ and ES. Off the open, it opened right off the overnight point of control. So you could say right off the bat, as a B rank setup, getting long right at overnight point of control was really the only thing you could have done last night, this morning with the New York session, if you were going to trade those levels. But otherwise, it was really nothing other than just trading the developing profile all the way through, which is not recommended for beginners. So the trade I ended up taking yesterday on the New York session inside school, I'll put a little clip of the actual trade execution here. This was me entering the trade, and the reaction obviously was really, really quick. So it was a perfect setup. You have developing point of control, then you've got main VWAP line there as your second confluence. So B rank trade overall. Let's see if we can follow through. Yep, there we go. Holy shit. Wonderbar. All right, and now here are the confluences for the trade. So, and this is what the profile looked like at the time I entered the trade. So we had the overnight value area high. I actually didn't have that on the chart. I didn't realize it was there at the time. So I thought I was taking a B rank trade until one of the members in chat said, "Hey, Cam, you haven't marked out the overnight level from the previous day." I'd forgotten to mark them out on gold before trading. So it ended up being an A rank setup altogether. Was here, you can see that the market had put in a point of control on the developing profile across here, broken away from it, and then pulled back into value, retest, broken away, pull back into value and retest. That's where I got in for my long. Now, trading point of control is acceptable if it is traded from point of control, broken out of value, and comes back to retest. Buying the retested point of control is a good idea. However, if the market has not broken away from point of control and out of value, you don't want to be entering at point of control typically. So this is the only exception. When the market breaks point of control, extends outside of the value area and pulls back to retest, that's often a good spot to buy, especially with multiple confluences. So what we had here for this long was we had that context, the market breaking away from point of control, coming back all the way down to retest. We had that context, right? So the developing point of control is confluence 1, the VWAP band is confluence 2, and being at the overnight value high, that value area of last night that was also exited, as confluence number 3. So 1, 2, 3 confluences for a long. I got it in for a trade right here. Stop loss sitting behind the VWAP and behind that point of control node, right? So there's my stop down at 4115, 51 ticks outside of this node behind the VWAP, and my target in this case I was targeting just up at near the upper VWAP band here for nearly 100 ticks. That thing ended up running a lot more, went pumped up 273 ticks total. So it was a really big run, but a really nice setup. Now, if you even have a look back on gold earlier, look for that whole overnight session, how well gold reacted to those A rank stack levels as well. Down here was a little bit messier, but around that 5-6 a.m. mark here, overnight value low, previous week point of control, and developing value low all gave such good entries on gold. And in general, gold's a really good one to trade for volume profile, guys. I've gotten a few comments and questions about, does volume profile work with gold? Volume profile works with anything that's got a centralized exchange, right? Ideally, so any futures product you can use volume profile with. If you like trading gold, gold was the first thing I ever started trading volume profile on back when I first picked up this style of trading. I traded gold for a solid, almost a full year using volume profile. If you used to follow my old daily newsletter, that was sharing my gold trades daily, every single day. A really nice gold setup. So it is possible, guys. If you like gold, gold's one of my favorites for volume profile. Really, really nice. So as that was the trade of the day last night. Again, for the indexes, it was just a total upwards day, right? There was not many A-rank setups. All you can do in these type of days is just trade the developing profile. Inside the school, we highlighted a couple of trade setups from the developing profile as the market was pumping off the New York Open. We highlighted a couple of trade setups that you could have taken, which we saw play out in real time. For example, this one here is one that we were looking at as a potential where the NASDAQ had climbed up, right, put in a point of control, aka fair value here, climbed up, put in more value above in the highs, pulled back to retest that fair value it just left behind. Boom, and that was the trade idea highlighted in the school, and that ended up being a good support to continue higher. And that's basically all you do with a developing profile when the market's moving in one direction. All you can do is look for those pockets of value, wait for the breakaway, see the acceptance on the profile, and buy the pullback in the direction of the trend. Because other than that, price was outside of VWAP, outside of all the levels. It was one of those days where the market's just got one thing in mind, and that's to buy, buy, buy. So that's that, and I've just hit a D-shaped profile fade here, classic D-shaped profile fade off the about an hour after the Asian Open here as well, which is a simple volume profile trade I teach inside the school. So tonight I'm going to be going live for the London session in about 5 hours from this video being posted. So if you want to go deeper into volume profile, the full course access and all the educational contents all available here inside school, and you can also access the daily live trading sessions as well. We do New York the first 2 days of the week, London in the middle, and Asia the last 2 days of the week, and then finish off the week with the weekly group coaching sessions. So that's linked in the comments below. If you find these videos helpful, join. Otherwise, I will see you again tomorrow.